Tonight on To The Point. Remembering those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Across our region, communities coming together to honor fallen heroes.
Memorial Day is a solemn occasion to pause, reflect, and recommit to the freedoms they secured for us.
How local families mark the day and their message to the next generation.
Good evening. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. Today is Memorial Day, a time to honor and also mourn the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. Across the country, people are gathering to remember, reflect, and mourn the sacrifices. Today, President Trump paid tribute to fallen service members during a ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery. It's a tradition that goes back almost a century. The president places a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Trump was joined by Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. In a speech, the president commemorated the sacrifice of U.S. service members and also singled out several Gold Star families to tell the stories of their fallen relatives.
For the families of the fallen, you feel the absence of your heroes every day. In the familiar laugh no longer heard, the empty space at Sunday dinner, or the want of a hug or a pat on the back that will never come again.
More than 400,000 service members have been laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. Here in Sacramento, city officials honored the fallen by hosting the annual Memorial Day event at the Memorial Auditorium in downtown. In partnership with the Veterans Affiliated Council, people gathered today to pay respect to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen shares with us their stories and also the message that they want people to really remember on this day.
Oh, say, can you see? On this Memorial Day, veterans, city, and state leaders gathered to honor the lives of those who have fallen.
We all know that Memorial Day is a national recognition to honor the members of our armed services who died in service to their country.
In partnership with the City of Sacramento, the Veterans Affiliated Council organized this event at the Memorial Auditorium in downtown Sacramento. Councilmember Roger Dickinson and Assemblymember Maggie Krell were also a part of the event.
Today, we remember the soldiers, the sailors, the airmen, and the Marines who never came home.
Roseville Marine Sergeant Nicole G. is one of those who never came home. The 23-year-old was killed in an ISIS attack in Afghanistan in 2021.
Nicole was not just a hero in her final moments. She was a hero in every choice she made, in every act of kindness, and in every sacrifice for something greater than herself.
Reminding those who are young, old, and still serving that those who gave their lives left a legacy to inspire us to live with purpose.
You are that next generation, and your actions, whether in service, community, or simply voting, keeps their legacy alive.
In Sacramento, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
The Veterans Affiliated Council hosts events throughout the year, with Veterans Day being their biggest. For more details on their upcoming events, we have posted a link over on our website at abc10.com. In San Francisco, amid a sea of 30,000 white tombstones, thousands gathered at the National Cemetery. From veterans to young cadets, families stood shoulder to shoulder in solemn tribute, reflecting on the cost of freedom and the lives given to protect it. Among those who spoke was former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who called the day a time for remembrance and unity, reminding the crowd that Memorial Day began as a way to bring people together after the Civil War. Gold Star families were also in attendance. Tonight, we are hearing from a family of a veteran who chose to visit their loved ones at the cemetery. They say today is all about honoring those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for their freedom. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias takes us to the Sacramento Valley National Cemetery.
Entering the Sacramento Valley National Cemetery in Dixon on Memorial Day is usually a day filled with many emotions.
It brings to me a memory of, golly, these people gave their lives so I could have the freedoms that I have, and that's kind of what the flag represents. Us as a nation, hopefully unified.
Lawrence Patterson is visiting his father, Lawrence R. Patterson, who is buried here along with more than 50,000 other fallen military heroes. He says his father fought in the Vietnam War and died unexpectedly in 2008 of brain cancer after 26 years of service. And on this big day, Maureen Meyer, his daughter, flew in from Alabama to pay her respects. Her husband is also a veteran.
Memorial Day, as many people take the opportunity for the 3-day weekend to have barbecues and, go to the lake and go fishing and whatnot, but that's not what it's about. It's about honoring our service members who have perished. The fact is that they served, which gave us the opportunity to have this weekend.
The siblings say the cemetery has significantly changed since their father was buried. They can remember there being no roads or buildings, and it was still being developed.
It's emotional when you look around and how much this cemetery has grown, that all of these people have died for our country, whether it was in battle or not. They made a sacrifice, whether it was for 2 years or it was for 30 years.
Lawrence and Maureen say their mother, also a vet, plans to one day be buried here alongside her husband when she passes. And for as long as they can, the family will proudly pay their respects to the men and women who served. On Memorial Day, they leave the cemetery with a full heart.
Gratitude, thanks for the service for the men and women, as I've said. And then, we take photos. We collectively, as what family members are here, took pictures, and we'll send them off to my mother, who lives in Florida.
In Dixon, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
The family is asking people who want to show support to reach out to surviving veterans and their families. They say that a little bit of kindness really does go a long way when people are hurting. Longtime Sacramento television anchor and reporter Stan Atkinson has passed away. His son Alex confirming the news to ABC 10. Atkinson died yesterday at the age of 92. This is a picture of Atkinson and his wife that our Walt Gray shared with us. His career in the capital city spanned 40 years. He worked for KCRA3 and KOVR. Atkinson won multiple Emmy Awards, and he retired from the news industry in 1999. Next, on To the Point, from closures to crackdowns, why your favorite local lake might not be an option this season.
And we've been talking about it for a few days now, but there is a weather impact alert for Friday and Saturday due to likely record heat, temperatures climbing towards 105 degrees. We're going to break down the timing of this heat coming up after the break.
And later, they didn't think that it could happen to them. Now 2 women are sharing their cancer journey and spreading hope for others. Welcome back in. Millions are heading home after the busy Memorial Day weekend. It's shaping up to be a record-breaking weekend. Friday was the busiest day of 2025 so far for the TSA, with more than 3 million people screened. In total, 18 million are expected to fly over the holiday. Severe weather is causing some disruptions from Texas to Denver and on the roads. AAA says more than 39 million Americans traveled by car, and that's 1 million more than last year. So if you're heading out, the best time to avoid traffic is late tonight or early tomorrow morning. Now, many families choose to spend their Memorial Day on the lakes and rivers, but this year in Calaveras County, it was a bit harder to decide where to launch their boats. As we first reported just last week, Lake Comanche has closed its boat launches for the year in an effort to prevent the spread of an invasive golden mussel species. Many other local reservoirs are doing the same or requiring a 30-day quarantine period. Also this summer, Lake Comanche is banning alcohol.
No boat, no drinking and camping, and what are you just going to do? Look at each other all day long. So if you have a boat and an RV, it's kind of, you have to go find another place. That's what we're doing right now.
Longtime boaters at Hogan say there was a surge in visitors yesterday and Saturday because of the new rules at Comanche. Hogan Lake is at high risk for invasive golden mussel species, which is why officials there will be conducting random inspections of boats and jet skis all season long. Well, let's get straight into your forecast now. I want to bring in meteorologist Brendan Minchef with a look at our weather. It was a bit warmer, but still really beautiful.
Yeah, it was a nice day today. Made it to 78 yesterday, 82 today, but the pattern is changing. By Friday and Saturday, we've got an extreme heat watch posted for the valley. By far the hottest temperatures we've had so far this year. More on that in a second. But again, today, it was a pretty nice day. 82 in Sacramento, 83 Stockton, 81 Modesto. In fact, those temperatures are a little cooler than normal for the time of year by 1 to 3 degrees. But again, the pattern just isn't going to hang on. So enjoy tonight, because going forward, even as soon as tomorrow, things are going to be much warmer. 79 in Sacramento, currently 79 Stockton, 78 Manteca, 78 Modesto, 73 Tracy, 74 Fairfield, 77 in Vacaville, 66 up in Nevada City, 72 in Auburn, 74 Jackson, 60s up in the high country, and we've got that Delta breeze starting to go as well. 10 to 15 mile per hour sustained winds, especially in the Delta and the San Joaquin Valley. Gusts as high as about 25 miles per hour right now. So we go through the rest of this evening, mid-70s or so at the top of the hour. Certainly as we get towards about 8 o'clock, we'll be falling towards the low to mid-70s. 60s by 9 o'clock, low to mid-60s by 11 tonight. Clear and a little breezy. Tomorrow morning starting off very mild in the mid-50s, 54 in Sacramento and Stockton, 52 Manteca, about 57 down Modesto, 54 Tracy, 52 Vacaville, 51 in Fairfield. But tomorrow afternoon, notice the warming trend. We're going to be right near 90 across the valley, 90 in Sacramento, 92 Stockton, 92 Manteca, 91 Modesto, 90 in Tracy, 86 Vacaville, 85 in Fairfield, 95 Colusa, 80s in the foothills and near 80 degrees up in the Sierra tomorrow. Look how the weather pattern changes as high pressure builds in and gets reinforced by the end of the week. This is going to send our temperatures towards about 105 degrees. That's 21 degrees warmer than normal for the time of year. So Friday and Saturday, by far the warmest days we've had so far this year. There's a weather impact alert because of that extreme heat that is expected to end the week. So it's really important to practice heat safety. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're taking breaks from the heat, and that means in the shade, and even better in the AC. And of course, make sure you wear the sunscreen as well. These temperatures will affect everyone. You don't have to just be sensitive to heat. It is hot enough that it will impact us all. 105 degrees the forecast on Friday, 103 degrees the forecast on Saturday. The hottest we've ever been in Sacramento in the month of May is 105. So we are going to be right there by the end of the week, Alex.
All right, getting my AC ready. Thanks, Brendan. Coming up next on To The Point, new developments in the trade war. President Trump agreeing to delay tariffs for one nation. What's next in the trade talks? Plus, a Sacramento program is paying residents to replace their lawns. How to apply coming up. Welcome back in. Let's get into your price points tonight. President Trump has agreed to extend the deadline for tariffs on the European Union. The tariff threats have rattled markets, which economists are warning disrupted supply chains and a possible global slowdown. Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
A shift in President Trump's trade war. President Trump announcing he will delay his proposed 50% tariff on imports from the European Union, one of America's biggest trading partners. The tariffs were set to begin this Sunday, but President Trump announcing on social media he extended the start date until July 9th after speaking with the head of the European Commission.
She just called me, as you know, and she asked for an extension on the June 1st date, and she said she wants to get down to serious negotiation.
Meanwhile, President Trump also criticizing Russian President Vladimir Putin after a massive Russian attack on Ukraine. Over the weekend, Russia launched its most intense aerial attacks on Ukraine in more than a year, including hundreds of missiles, killing at least 18 people and injuring more.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all. Something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
On social media last night, Trump saying of Putin, quote, "I've always said that he wants all of Ukraine, not just a piece of it. And maybe that's proving to be right. But if he does, it will lead to the downfall of Russia." The president also criticized Ukrainian President Zelensky for his comments on the war, saying, quote, "Everything out of his mouth causes problems. I don't like it, and it better stop." Zelensky has condemned what he says is the silence of America, calling for new sanctions and additional pressure on Russia to agree to a ceasefire. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
The U.S. social safety net could see sweeping changes under a budget bill backed by President Donald Trump. It narrowly passed the House last week and would impose new work requirements for low-income adults receiving Medicaid and food assistance. The bill also blocks Medicaid funds for Planned Parenthood, limits care for undocumented immigrants, and ends Medicaid coverage for gender-affirming care starting in 2027. The measure is currently in the Senate, where changes are likely. The California e-bike incentive program is getting a little bit of a reboot after a rocky rollout just last month. Nearly 100,000 low-income Californians were left waiting when the application system crashed on April 29th. So the program offers vouchers up to $1,750 to help people buy e-bikes based on income. The state's Air Resources Board has revamped the process, adding a random number system and also hiring tech firms to handle all the traffic. Round 2 opens on May 29th. Applicants must log in between 5 and 6 p.m. and ebikeincentives.org to enter the virtual waiting room. About 1,000 vouchers are up for grabs right now. All right, Sacramento is offering cash rebates to residents and businesses who replace grass lawns with drought-tolerant plants. And this year, the plant list has expanded nearly 830 varieties. Homeowners can receive up to $3,000 to help with the cost. The city allocates about $1 million each year to cover the cost, and rebates are only available until the funds run out. Well, they delayed their mammograms for years. Then came a life-altering diagnosis, cancer. Now, 2 women who beat the odds are not only celebrating survival, but they're also turning their second chance into a mission to save others. Reporter Michelle Boyden shares their powerful journey.
It's not easy to go public with something so private.
It's just been surprising to me and overwhelming.
Don't put this to the bottom of your to-do list.
Both Meg Robertson and Amy Highland-Jones delayed getting mammograms.
I was busy and I was working really hard and thinking I have no family history. This is just not going to be what is going to get me. And that was not a smart step to take.
Jones, the head of communications for investment banking at Wells Fargo, finally got one in 2020 and was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer just before the world shut down.
Well, it started with a premonition almost in December of 2019. I just knew something was wrong. I was doing a self-check and I had skipped 3 years of mammograms. And I was 49 and I said, I just know I have to go in and get a screening.
Because the earlier women catch it, the less impact it's going to have on their lives.
Meg Robertson, who works with nonprofits and is an executive coach, delayed her mammogram during COVID like so many others. When she finally did go in, she had cancer in both breasts. Because of our original story with Robertson, at least one woman got checked and found her own cancer.
But when I saw Meg's story, and I was like, okay, it's time for me to go. Oh, I mean, I'm forever grateful to Meg.
The same thing happened after Jones first spoke to us.
A very good friend of mine's sister saw the spot in August of 2020. It prompted her to get a mammogram, and she also discovered cancer.
The American Cancer Society says 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. That number is steadily rising. Breast cancer is the most common cancer for women outside of skin cancer.
I'm doing really well.
Both Robertson and Jones are now celebrating being cancer-free, but both say they're celebrating something else just as important.
Maybe it was worth it. It helped her, so maybe it was worth it. Well, it just makes the not so fun parts of it a little more worthy, I guess.
I think if you can just have one person go in, get that screening, and learn something that's going to change the course of their life, that's why I do this.
The American Cancer Society suggests women over 40 get annual mammograms, even if you don't have a family history. If you are high risk, they suggest starting at the age of 30, and that does include women with the BRCA gene mutation. Next, on To the Point, a beloved piece of local history is taking its final ride. See how the community is saying goodbye to an iconic handcar as it rolls off the tracks for good. It's the end of an era. After more than 3 decades, the Folsom Handcar Derby rolled out for the last time this weekend. The race dates back to 1992. Teams of 4 have raced along historic tracks, pushing custom-built cars in a celebration of railroad heritage. The final derby took place in front of Broadstone Marketplace on East Bidwell Street. Family, rail enthusiasts, and volunteers gathered one last time to honor the tradition. Proceeds from the event went towards Folsom, El Dorado, and Sacramento Historical Railroad Association. That is our show tonight. As always, thank you so much for watching and inviting us into your home. If you have something you think me and the team should be looking into, please reach out to us. You can always email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. And remember, strangers are just people we haven't gotten the chance to meet yet, so take the time to get to know someone. And To the Point does not end here. If you want to watch stories that are featured on our show, you can always download our free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app straight to your TV. Have a great night. I'll see you right back here tomorrow.